everyone. Um, this video is actually a part 2 of how to support and teach others who may work with your client. And as I reviewed in the previous video, we can be offering support to teachers, other SLPAs, parents, and again, anyone who may work and interact with our client. And the focus of my activity is providing support for SLPAs and teachers. So this is more certainly geared to those working within a school setting, but you can definitely modify anything that is said here today to apply it to teaching parents or teaching other individuals that the client may work with, so that the client is able to most effectively use their device to communicate with others. And again, our main goal is so that our client is able to participate in the classroom, participate within any intervention. So we are there to not just support our clients, but to support anyone who can work with our clients, so that that interaction is most beneficial. So on our right here, we have a little AAC activity planner. We're going to kind of work through and fill it out. Kind of based on the using the AAC support. So we'll be using the Satilo home core word board for, I believe it's a 60 basic. It would be kind of like acting like as the home screen if for a child who has a dynamic device. And this AAC activity planner has already been modified off of Heather Penavost and Brittany Tony, and their resource. I'll provide you their link to their activity planner as well. I just modified mine a little bit more to be more applicable to use when you're teaching and providing that education for teachers. So perhaps you have a teacher who has a student using a dynamic AAC device, and you want to provide him or her support on how to allow that student to be included into the classroom. You can use this AAC activity planner to help guide the teacher to support the student. And so we'll go ahead and get started. We'll fill it out as we go along. So we'll probably say EMG, not a reference. Or I should say it's a completely a reference to one of my favorite movies, but let's see the date. I'll just say it's today's date, December 9, 2021. And here's where it differs from the activity planner that is used on the Satilla webinars. And this is kind of get into the mindset, what activity can an AAC device be used with? The answer is technically all activities. We can always adapt the activity to support the student to use AAC device. There's no activity that a client cannot use. So, but this, to kind of like why this is on the form, it's kind to get the teacher thinking, how can I use the universal model for learning to support this client? What kind of types of activity are we going to do to support the students with AAC? And so let's say in the classroom, they're learning literacy, we can do a shared reading activity. Um, and again, this is just to kind of guide the teachers into thinking um, any activity the child, or I should say the client with AAC, um, is able to participate in. It's kind of guiding um, how are they going to adapt their activity, what they already have planned, how are they going to adapt it for the client with AAC. Now we have what types of core words and AAC symbols that can be targeted within that activity or that the client may use most often. It is typically recommended to use core words as they are words that are typically on the first page of, at least for Sotelo, those are the words that are typically the most used in any person's vocabulary, and on the first page, easy to access, so it's usually recommended to use core words. However, especially with dynamic AAC systems, there are um, other folders, there's other categories in which the client can interact in the activity. Like I believe on the word Power 60 Basic, there's usually a categories button in which that can open up to different jobs. So if you have like a career day or again a shared reading activity about a career day, you can have the symbols that are used within that job category. So let's say again they're doing a shared reading activity in class. And so let's say they're a much younger grade. So they're a bit early in the decoding skill. So they may be still trying to decode what's the cover of the book versus what are some pictures on the book. So we can use some cool words such as, we can use see and look. Um, we can do maybe read since the share reading activity. And then maybe we can also do finish. I'll do an example of 3. Those are let you see, look. I'll do finish and then read. Here are just some boxes where if you're easily able to like, take a picture, so you can like cut out a picture, post here so that who is ever providing support for the students within the activity, they know exactly what button they want to use because they can identify it based on the picture. Or if needed, you can fill out in the boxes or um, um, under the core category words and be able to describe where these words are. So to provide the most support to our teachers, so that our teachers, SLPAs, whoever's running the activity, so that our client is able to participate as effectively as possible. Then here we'll have our core words again. We'll have script for prompts. How are we going to prompt these words within the activity to benefit the AAC user to learn these words, but also to benefit them to use it within the read and then say finish. Again, these are all core words on the core word page. So we have scripts for prompts. How are we going to prompt the client to use is we can ask a question to which they can answer, or we can provide a model. How are we going to prompt, or how's the teacher who's working with the client prompt the client to use these words? Um, and so for see and look, we can do maybe ask a question like, where is, let's say maybe object on the page. Where is object? Keep it simple. Where is object? And then you can go into your models, and models realize like, I see elephant. We're reading a book about elephants. Or we can do another prompt of what are we doing? And again, in the models, we can write we are reading, or it can say we are going to read, and finish. Maybe prompt them like, what are we doing next? Or maybe say we are all done with the book, and prompt them to press finish, saying that we are done with the book. Now, in most of these I've asked questions, your prompt does not have to be a question. It can be just anything that allows for the client to use their device to act and participate within the shared reading activity that the teacher is having everyone else participate in. And so this is allowing the client to participate. So even some of your scripts can be like asking the other classmates what they see. So asking the other classmates what they see, like within the book, like do they see the title, and things like that, having them point to it, and then having our client point to something on the book. Say they point to a word on the book, so you can then model like, I see the word that the client pointed to. So you can have a script for prompts. Again, page is editable. You can edit the page, so you can make it as you can add more prompts if needed, but or what is most beneficial to the teacher. Then we go down to our models. And typically when we're doing a shared reading activity, models usually come before a child is able, client, I should say client because it can be of any age. So the shared reading activity, you provide the model, then you provide that guided practice, and then they do the attempt to use the word independently. So our models are very important. And so we can always have the example here of like, I see dog. Like, or we would say, I see the white dog if we're reading brown bear, something of that nature. So I see the dog. Then we can have press C. So even like have a direction that not only whoever is providing this activity, they're providing that verbal model in a full sentence, full easy to understand sentence, and then also giving that direction of they press the button that corresponds with their verbal model. And then you can write some more. You can have them create some other models that they'll be able to use within a activity to again support um, the AAC user within the classroom so that they are able to actively participate. So that is the majority of the AAC activity planner. Um, and it will be available to you, and it can be edited in a way that you see fit, so that you're able to provide education to any of those who work with the client, to again advocate for our clients, and to advocate for the universal design for learning, so that our client can get the most benefit using their AAC device, and that is to be able to receive that education, same quality education as everyone else, just in their own unique format. So that is my wrap up of part 2 of how to support and teach others. Um, Again, part 1 was going through other resources that already exist out on the web, and then this part 2 is adding my own resource for um, anyone to use, again, to be able to support their clients with dynamic AAC devices. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I will see you next time.